We just gonna go ahead on and get started.
Baseline.
Hey, yeah, yeah, uh, yeah, yeah. Well, why? Cause it's the Porch Podcast. Come on. And this the Porch Podcast got a different voice. And this the Porch Podcast. Come on. This the Porch Podcast. Porch Podcast, episode 76. Your boy Influential, and we up in the mix. The P's in the back saying stuff got me off beat. Yeah. But I'm still two-stepping while I'm down the street. Just pause for the calls. We call this episode Fireball. Whether you take a shot, whether you got the glow, whether you know the E got the ill can flow, but I keep on flowing. Woo! I keep on going. I keep on growing. Y'all be knowing, tick tock the watch stop. Nah, because I'm at the top. You know why? Why? Because it's the Porch Podcast. Come on. Hey, and it's the Porch Podcast. Yeah, and it's the Porch Podcast. Come on. What? And it's the Porch Podcast. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. It's your boy DJ E, Mr. Influential, and I am rocking with my brother, man.
P Original, baby.
Yes,
sir. We
yes,
back at it. Another week.
Another week, and we call this episode Fireball. I gotta leave that up there extra long because I'm gonna do it again. Fireball. Had the extra shit going on TV.
Oh man. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
76.
76.
Fireball.
Shout out to the 76ers.
Bro, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh.
That's the last time we're gonna be discussing my mouth.
Okay, good job. 'Cause I was about to say, taking words.
What was you gonna say?
I don't like you taking stuff out your mouth. I respect you.
Listen, y'all, welcome back to another episode, man, of the Porch Podcast. And here we are, blasting right on off, man. Fireball.
Fireball.
You know, hey, man, sometimes in life, you got to be one. You got to be one. Okay? Because people don't like when you're cool. No. Sometimes people take your coolness for a weakness, and guess what?
Right.
You get to the point where you had enough, and you become that fireball.
That fireball.
Now, what I'm going to say about being a fireball is this, right? Because I think that you always, you're human first and foremost. And you're going to come across things in life that challenge your coolness. It's just a fact of life. In those moments, you may not have somebody else be the voice of reason.
Right.
So what you got to honestly do is you got to almost treat life sometimes like a boxer treats a sparring match.
Okay.
You know how you meet some people, or you got some people in your life, wherever you work with them, you just interact with them, and you know they're going to do something that is going to test your ability to be cool.
But you got to be cool like John Travolta.
You got to be cool. But they're going to say something, so you prepare yourself for the fireball moment. See, you come to realize really quickly and very early on.
Right.
No, it's not if the fireball is going to happen, because it's going to.
It's when.
It's just when. And the level of it, right? Because you know how it is. Sometimes, man, you kind of treat certain things, like a game. See, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to set this situation up because I know that this person wants to see me come out of character.
They want to.
So what I'm going to do is, because I know the fireball moment is coming, I'm going to make sure that when I do have that moment,
right,
that is justifiable. I know that sounds different. But there is a justifiable way to lose control.
Yeah, because music make you lose control.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? There is a justifiable way to lose control.
I give you a perfect example. You did just simple word. My mom. Then you lose it.
Right. Right. It's never okay.
Right.
And in that moment, it's just like people know what the hot button is in reverse, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people know. Come on now, man. People know. People know the things that are off limits. People
Right.
know.
Right.
But what do? Say, cool. I'm going to push the envelope today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find out where I went wrong. It may cause me to get punched in the face
Hard.
numerous times.
Pop, bing,
Okay.
boom.
I may get
Pow.
cursed out. I may
Hadouken!
get cursed out. Yeah.
Right, you used
I
to
may get
throw
cursed.
that fireball.
Yeah. But to them, it's worth it.
Right.
To them, it's worth it. It's like, I'm going to find out. I'm going to do what I need to do. And at the end of it all, I'm just going to deal with the consequences how they come, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been on both sides of the fireball. I've been on both sides of it. I've been on both sides. I've been on the side of it where I didn't know the fireball was coming.
Right.
I've been trying to be a help to somebody. I say, listen, I'm going to be a blessing to somebody today. You know, I'm going to be an empathetic ear. I'm going to be a shoulder to cry on. I'm going to be somebody who, says what I need to say so I can be able to be an encouraging person. You know, as a motivator, I often put myself in conversations with people that are uncomfortable because I really want to get them in an uncomfortable space so that we can talk through whatever's going on. I've
Right.
done it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So sometimes being brutally honest make you look like you coming off as a fire starter.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, I'm not a fire starter, but I'm just addressing the thing that you dancing around.
Right.
You dancing around it. You know how you can look. Sometimes, man, you got people, you may look up one day, your significant other, your kids come in from school and they having a big, from the time they hit the door, you be like, Dad, what's wrong with you? You got an attitude when you coming in the house, what's the problem?
Right. You got to change that
Whatever,
energy.
you got to change that energy.
This
So
is a
whatever
happy
you,
space.
right. But but on the flip, some people may look at you as a person who's starting stuff. See, here you go starting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Negative. I'm not starting anything. I'm not being a fireball. You came in the house with this situation, and now because I'm not going to allow you to be able to project whatever that energy is that you're dealing with onto me, I look like a
Mm-hmm.
person who's here to try to start trouble or start a fire. Well, I'm just letting you know that's not the case. You understand what I'm saying? And you got those moments. And I think, man, like even me, bruh, I used to think back to sometimes. You know how you get yeah, I know, I done seen you do it. You get a telemarketer, for lack of terms, somebody on
Right.
there on the phone trying to sell you
Right.
some insurance.
Yeah, they always looking for
Um,
Stanley.
they're always looking for Stanley. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And I told him I
You know
wasn't
what I mean?
Stanley for the last 15 years, but sometimes I just let him meet Stanley.
Yeah. You know what's funny, man? Might have to let them see that video, man. That video, man, I may put something up in the description up here, or I may put something on the screen that pops up here if you guys want to see that video.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, though, because you make the decision that you're not going to allow a person to do something to you, you become known as a fireball, right?
Fireball.
You walk into the meeting, everybody else is sitting around. Don't nobody want to say nothing about the elephant in the room. Here comes E. after going to after enjoying a nice funnel cake, for lunchtime.
Funnel cake.
Yeah, well, something has to explain the, the confection and sugar, you know. So, so here you come.
What are you applying, sir?
I'm just saying that you had a sweet treat for lunch. You come in and all of a sudden, everybody else is quiet in the meeting, and you get to that point, E, where you 1, 2, 3. E, be yourself in the meeting. Something's been said. You don't agree with it. Matter of fact, we'll give you the countdown. You ready? Get in the character. Here we go, y'all. Here we go, y'all. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, nah. Nah, I can't. Nah, I'm not doing that. Nah. Randy, what do you mean? Shit makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? Shit makes no sense. I'm gonna do the job. But that part of it, that shit makes no sense. And it don't even matter. So why are you saying that shit don't make sense? I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. Because I'm not
Wow.
going to do it. Regardless if that's the way if you need somebody to do it that way, then I'm not your guy. Nah, not
Right.
doing that. Nope.
You know, it's crazy too, man. The label of a fire starter come with a term mom used to use sometimes. I've heard before. Be nicety.
Nasty.
Yeah, you know what nicety
Nice.
means, right?
Yeah, nice, nasty.
Yeah,
You said
you
you
know what I
said
mean.
you said about 2 episodes ago. I'm the nice, nastiest dude you probably know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think that you enjoy um, seeing people, being in uncomfortable positions, man. When you do what you
I
do,
don't think I enjoy it. I'm just here for it. It's
usually
a
the person who's doing the torturing
I'm
don't.
just here. I'm just here for it, bro. You want
Yeah,
to bring it? I'm here for it. Once
yeah.
I'm go, fire part. I do it. So how that
You
shit
make
go,
that.
man.
You make that noise. Don't make that noise, man. When you do it, don't make that noise. Hey, listen though. Once again, I think that there's a time and a place for everything, right? So I don't whatever term you want to use, fireball, fire starter, what I mean, uh, you know, rebel rouser or whatever you
Yeah,
want to be known as.
yeah,
My thing is there's a difference between a person that starts fires and there's a difference between the person who puts them out.
right.
Now, if my fire brings awareness to the fugaziness of what's being, being said or put out there, then yeah, absolutely, I started that fire.
What do you actually How do you put the fire out though?
So, so one of the terms that you use, I mean, how you broke it down the other day. Fire starters are more
And the
known as
movies out
being.
again, fire starter. Remember that was an old school one. They just brung it back.
Oh, okay, I didn't even know that, but yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
it's
that.
on Peacock. It's on Peacock.
Got you. I
It's a
think that
new.
what
It's a new version of it.
okay, I think that what you do is to put the fire out. Is first and foremost, you got to be comfortable in the fire. You got to make it seem like the fire is comfortable first and foremost. That's how you put fires out. See, fires only to me they only look different when you're in a situation where it look like that you are in a, you're out of control. A
Right.
controlled fire is different. You know that
Right.
from they set fires and you
You
know
control them.
you control them.
Well, you
So I
control.
think
You
that
can control. I give you a control. Not to sorry to cut your wisdom, but
nah, go
a
ahead.
good example of a controlled fire is when you light your grill.
Right, right,
You keep the fire there to
absolutely,
be able to control it. You know what I mean? Or if you
absolutely,
have a fire pit in your backyard, it's a controlled fire.
right.
But
So like that's
I
different.
I think people think I'm a fire starter. I'm not a fire starter. Um, because if you take a match, right,
Right,
and you put something else next to it that's flammable,
right.
it does what? Catches
It
fire,
ignites. It catches fire and ignites
right?
it. Right.
And the
What's
fire
already there.
spreads,
Right,
right?
right.
And then you continue to, or if you add another. So when people are coming to me knowing that it's some dumb shit,
Right.
I'm that other I'm that big log that you just added to the match. Oh, so this is where
Okay.
we at with it today. I'm here for it, buddy. Let's go.
Got you.
I'm not just
Got you.
gonna let you burn me. Oh, no, no,
Yeah. You go pop a few ambers out on.
no. And the only thing that's gonna put the flame out, Mr. Skip Style. Shut the. I'm telling you.
I know.
You keep talking to me, I'ma keep going. And I was just explaining this. I was just saying this to my wife. I said, a lot of times my not with me and her, but my issue with people, period, is you're not gonna just give me to shut up.
Yeah.
Even if something needs to be done, I'ma do it and keep talking shit. I can't help it.
Right.
I'm just gonna keep. I'm just like nah, no. The customer need this. I'm gonna do this, but that's you still stupid. Like I'm gonna keep going.
Right. You still gonna
Why
do the
you
job.
can't? Well, why you can't just be quiet? Cause I'm grown. That's not gonna make me shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way it's gonna make you shut up, make me shut up, is when I see you bring your level of fire down. Okay, Randy. All right. Okay, then, man. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't got to keep
Yeah.
going with it.
Nah. And I think that some of that, even with the fireball part of it, comes down to what you allow a person to do to you.
Mm-hmm.
or how you allow them to treat you. You know what I'm saying? So like, people gonna be opinionated one way or the other. People are gonna be they're gonna be offended by a number of different things.
Right.
The language that you use, the octave that you speak in, the tone of
Right.
voice, your facial expressions, all of those things. What people fail to remember is that, especially when you're talking about adults, if you ain't talking to a child, that means that you're talking to an adult. Unless you talking to animals or
Unless
something
you're
else. I
talking
mean,
to
I
a
don't know.
dog or something,
That's what I'm saying. Unless you're
and
speaking,
you know not to call me that.
right. But even so, like, then you would have to allow a person to take you to a level that you're not gonna let them take you to, because you're not an animal. Like that would
Yeah.
just be, I wouldn't remotely entertain it. But in the same token, like I said, it's a difference between you expressing yourself, like you say, bro. Emotion ain't nothing but energy and motion, right?
Right.
And the way I look at most things, when it comes down to a person saying something, they can't control my response anyway.
Nope.
They have no control over my response. So my thing is that you're going to do one or two things. You're either going to be more mindful of how you speak to me, or what you actually, the context of what you're talking about with me, right?
Right.
Or you're going to deal with however my response is to that situation. Those are your only two options. You don't have a third option in that situation.
As my boy Kurt used to say, man, hey man, go ahead to do how much your chin can take, man.
Right. Right. But and even in the sense of like, so, all right, for instance, when you look at the show, right? When we do this show, we happen to be having a conversation with one another about the things and the ways that we feel. And we speak in our mannerisms and the way that we talk. It's how we choose to talk, right? Now it's not about starting fires,
No, that's
but it
not a
is
fire
about
with
the
me and you though. That's never a fire.
never. But what I'm saying is that it's not about starting fires, but if you say something, right, and what I say bothers you, then you were only in control of what part of that.
The part that bothers you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. It's always been a situation where before you call a person a fire starter or
Mhm.
somebody who is going against the quote unquote status quo or the norm of a situation or something that has you comfortable,
Right.
realize that if you're getting burnt by fire, the only thing that you could possibly do is get away from it.
Right. I think when I dealt with it personally a lot of times is the person honestly knew that the way that something needed to be conquered or handled was the right way, but they blatantly went the other way because it wasn't their idea. And because
Yeah.
of their authority, they're telling me I'm going to do it the way they do it because
Right.
it's a direct order.
Hmm.
But we not in the army. We're not in the service. And I know that you don't know what you're talking about. I know you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm never going to follow your direction, and if it's going to put me in harm's way. Write me up. We can fight. Whatever you want to do. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as I'm talking to you, you don't even realize that I'm doing it, and it's being handled because the outcome has to be met. And long as you check off, it's like, bruh, it's like, remember back in the day when when you was in a Boy Scout, you have a scavenger hunt,
Okay.
and you had to find the items. And when they would make it clear, you don't have to find the items in order. You just have to find them.
Right.
You were doing nothing wrong as long as you were checking off the checkpoints of the list. However, there are some things you have to do things correctly, and it has to go in certain order.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
can't,
Right.
like clean myself the best way if I get in the shower fully dressed. I must take off my clothes first and then get into the shower.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So it would never be something as simple as that, the order of it, because that's common sense. It would
Right.
be more so, no, you do what you're told. Nah,
Yeah.
dog. Now you want me to be, I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a lot of times that what happened with me when a person would say I'm in fire mode. You know what I mean? But being a fireball also means a different thing. You know, you got that glow, you got that shine. You know, a fire is a force. That means you hot, you flaming, you on point. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In
Mhm.
Christianity, when you're learning, like it seems like when you start reading and everything starts to become clear to you, and you start quoting stuff from the Bible. They say, I think it's like this in all Muslim. I mean, all Muslim in all religions. They make the term, "He's on fire."
Mhm.
Remember the game, uh, NBA Jam,
Mhm.
where you made three in a row.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
He's on fire, and the ball was what? A fireball.
Yep. Yep.
So being a fireball, what we telling y'all, it's always a balance to it. It's a time, but it's always a good time. It's always a good thing. Even when you gotta be nicey, like mom used to say,
Mhm.
you know, it shows strength. It shows strength
Yeah.
when you got your flame because it shows confidence. Like I'm not gonna cringe up because you're in charge. If it's
Right.
stupid, it's stupid, my man. It's that simple.
Right. Yeah.
Don't care who you are. It's dumb. It don't make sense.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
gonna be mad because I spoke my opinion?
Then you gonna be mad then,
Right.
because I'm never gonna not do that. So
Nah, that's what I'm that. Here we go.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
can tell you about a particular time we was in Vegas, man. One of these Vegas trips. You wasn't out there with us. Fireball was the drink of choice that whole 3 4 days we was out there.
Yeah.
We was just
Yeah. That's
stopping and taking shots of Fireball, man, and it made us feel like we was on fire. But now that I think about it, we was taking shots of Fireball in the desert.
Hey man, it was one of those opportunities, those rare opportunities you had to take a hot drink in a hot place. You know. But I will say this though about it, man. Like you said though, just the emotion, the energy, emotion that goes into that situation. There's always a misunderstanding, right? There's always a misunderstanding that generates people's feelings, in my opinion, about it being a fireball moment for a particular person, right? Like if you're making points, and in your points, you become passionate about the way that you say things. There's a difference between that and then you just yelling things because you mad,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like you said, even with the jobs and stuff like that. I mean, when I was working, I could remember that one of the statements that used to be made to us by the senior officers would be, when it comes to a direct order, you're supposed to do it. Even if you're not comfortable with it or you don't necessarily agree with it, don't put yourself in a position to get hurt or anything like that, but you follow the direct order, and then you make sure that if you need to go to your, rep about that or anything like that, and you address it that way, because if you don't, it's going to be viewed as being insubordinate.
Right.
So it would be tough, man, because you would have times where you just knew something wasn't going right. And it ain't about personal opinion. It may have been through trial and error. It may have been through experience, where a person gave you an order, and if you didn't follow that situation, you knew that there was going to be repercussions, and you had to make a real decision.
Right.
And if you were a vocal person and you said something about how you felt as though that wasn't going to be, what's the best move for the outcome that you guys were trying to get, sometimes you would be viewed as as a fireball, a person that just was uncooperative and not trying to work. You could be an A plus A1 team player.
Yeah.
You could be somebody who comes in, you know what I mean, leaves it all out on the field type of situation, and be viewed differently. You look at a person like Tom Brady, just taking it to a, competitive nature aspect, dealing with an athlete. And we talk about him a lot on the show, but, he's a champion multiple times over. And you can say what you want to say, but he's always had respect. And in the moments where things were going in one way or the other, he became a fireball, whether it was that ignition or whether it was that fuel that the team needed to get over the hump, or whether it was that time where he needed to say something to get underneath their tail, so to speak, and get them going.
Right.
So you can say what you want to say about a fireball. Unless he's just blatantly or she's blatantly just running around trying to burn people,
Right.
it all depends on how you want to look at the fire.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
You need them.
that's, you
You
need
need
them,
them.
man. You need them, man. You need people. I, bruh, prime example in my own household. Used to have people like I was saying about the whole people that would call the telemarketers, the people that would call from different places, even people that you had legitimate
Mm-hmm.
accounts and stuff like that with. You know, where my wife would get on the phone and try to talk to some of these people sometimes, and they had that one person that would just be, you know, nasty, not nasty, but
Right.
nasty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where she would handle it a little bit differently. When she would get to the point where she was beyond being nice in that situation, it was
Mm-hmm.
showtime. And we know who was going to be the one that was going to make it showtime. So that's when, not that she has a leash on me, but that's when the leash was off. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, I become a fireball, right? I remember another time she was getting ready to try to go in. We had went to an event that she was having. She needed to talk to the guy who was doing the coordinating. She called me and said, "Babe, I tried to talk to the dude, but you know, he's aggressive. I mean, he's aggressive. Now he's aggressive in how he talks. What's his phone number?"
Mm-hmm.
I called him. It was I know what she was hearing because he tried it with me. Homie had to hurry up and get right.
Mm-hmm. Where was this at
You
now?
know, this was over the phone, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying this was for you know what I mean. Speaking of that, you know what I mean. It was for this awesome company,
Mm-hmm.
front and center events. But we'll get back into that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, in that particular moment, it wasn't that he was being nasty. He just was an aggressive talker. You know
Yeah.
how you talk to some people sometimes, bro, and they just, well, what do you want to do? You know what I mean? Are you going to do it, or what do you want? With me, you know what I mean? It was quick. It was painless. You know what I mean? Yeah, my wife just called you, man. You know what I mean? We trying to see what's going on with this table, this, that, and the third. Well, who is this again? Yeah, it's this. It's who this is. Oh, okay, no problem. Matching energy, like you said earlier. When that
Mirror it.
flame, when you turn your flame down, I can turn my flame down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, I was being a fireball because I was acting off of emotion. I'm not going to front. When my
Mm-hmm.
wife called me and said what she said, it didn't matter if he could have been the softest speaking person in the world.
Yeah.
It was too late.
Mm-hmm.
It was too late. I already was going into that conversation totally different.
Yeah. It's you gotta mirror it. It depends when to hold, know when to fold, depending on your position in the conversation. I've dealt with a lot of irate people on the phone when I'm the one that's supposed to be helping them, and
Mm.
I don't match their energy. Then I let them feel like they won because you're not gonna mess my bag up. But then when I'm talking to you and I'm running my own business and you trying to be like this aggressive guy that you're talking about, we could do that all day, my man.
Yeah.
We could do that. We could do this shit all day. FaceTime me. Let me see what you look like. So I knew who I got the size of. So when I walk in the room, I already know who to look for. Oh, there you go. You want to fight? Like, you know what I mean? I just want to know. Like, you know. Sometimes you
I
just got
think
to ask people that. Do you want to fight?
nah, but you know what though, E? I'm gonna tell you, right? I'm gonna tell you. A lot of times, man, misunderstandings or a few words, right? A few words or a few how can I say looks away from being different one way or the other.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? The problem that I had in my situation when I gave you my example with the one with the Giants is that I was going solely off of what my wife told me. Not that I don't believe that she was being honest about it, but whether I would have ever been uncomfortable with him or not, it never was going to be the case because I had already became uncomfortable with how he was addressing her or
Right.
how
Oh, you was in
and
your
it was
emotions. You told it. Yeah, you already said it.
right. And in that case, he guess what I realized? Because when I met the guy, because obviously we booked, we did. I met the guy in person, and I saw that he talked to everybody in there like that,
Yeah.
like this aggressive thing. Me and him got all right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't called, we ain't friends or nothing, but
Yeah.
we had an understanding. You know what I'm saying? It was like, by the end of the night, we knew how to talk to each other.
Right.
And I didn't look like a fireball, but I think he understood it too because he understood how he was speaking. But nonetheless, man, I still think that it comes down to, you know, when and how. I
Right.
still think it comes down to when and how. You know what I mean? That's it. It comes down to when and how.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm telling you, it's gonna be some cases in life where you're gonna need some fireballs, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I ain't talking about the cinnamon whiskey that you get from the Q. I'm talking about people who got a little bit of
That was the fireball.
spunk
That's
with
the
them.
fireball I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
talking about two different fireballs.
But you know what? Just having that conversation and we talk about the energy, we're gonna tell you about a company that can light a fire, a nice soft flame to your event. Sit back and pay attention.
Look, check it out. Let's get that stress off your plate. All right? Got that big event coming up, and you don't want to have to do all the work. I got a company for you, full service event company that's going to take care of all of your event planning needs. That's www.fncevents.com. A full service event planning company. Take all the stress off your head, kick back and enjoy the party. Once again, that's www.fncevents.com. Head on over there, get that party booked, and get it done. Back to the show. Absolutely, absolutely.
Front and center events.
Front center events. E, give me your five, man. I need five. Doesn't matter. It's not coming just from sports, not just coming from entertainment. Five fireballs. People. Five fireballs.
Okay, what the fuck you talking about?
Five fireballs.
Line up 5 shots. Okay, so five. They all people though, right?
All people.
Oh,
All
okay, all
people.
right. Cause I am
They
about
can
to
come
say
from
this
any
shit.
walk of life. Any walk of life. Any walk of life.
Um, Kanye West.
On my list too.
Um, Kobe Bryant.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Great. Great one.
Allen
Down to three
Iverson.
more. Down to two.
Michael Jordan.
Down to one.
Um, Mike Tyson.
Bingo. Great job. Great list. Great list. Great list. Now, in the concept of, like I said, once again, being a fireball, people who say things, people who do things, you know what I mean, to just make you go, that joker had his mind made up, or she had her mind made up when you got ready to do it. Okay. I'm going to go with Kanye. He's on there. Okay, Kanye's on there. I know it sounds a little bit funny, man, but Cardi. Cardi's on there, man. She's going to say something that's just going to make you like, huh? Fireball. Going to spit it. I'm saying it again, man. Tom Brady. Fireball. He's going to cut up. He's going to say what he wants to say. He's going to do what he wants to do. Another fireball. Two more. I would say Muhammad Ali was a fireball.
Yeah, he was. If I wasn't saying Mike, he was. It was Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali's a fireball.
There's a lot of them out there, but you had to pick 5.
One more.
You get one more.
Trump.
True that. True that.
Fireballs, man.
If I had to get another one, Floyd Mayweather,
I would have said Mayweather.
50 Cent.
That's just another one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as funny as this is going to sound, now with that list being created, what
Joe
we
Blow
just said,
Davis.
not touching that.
He like to
Stranger Things, man. They had a character in there, never seen his face, but his name was Reefer Rick. When I first. What I want to say about it is this. Now that we came up with both those lists, we had a couple of them that were similar. Now I want you to think about the world if they didn't exist. Right? The world would be fine. It's not like the world wouldn't go on. But I want you to think about what they contribute, right? What they actually contribute to their, whatever they're into, music and entertainment, sports, all those things. What if they weren't a part of it?
It's simple for me with that. It'll just be somebody else.
Okay. Fair
Because
enough.
everything in
Fair
this
enough.
world, you got to have a positive and a negative. And everything is
Right.
not about, everything has an opposite. So I'm not saying they were positive, or they were positive people. I'm not saying they were negative people. But they were light. So you got light, you got dark, you got dull stuff. You got some objects is always going to be shinier for whatever
Right.
they do, for whatever they
Right.
say, and things
Right.
of that nature. You
Mhm.
know, another
Mhm.
fireball, depending where you look at, Malcolm X. You understand what I'm saying?
No doubt.
You know what I
No
mean?
doubt.
Like
Right.
you gotta understand. So if it wasn't them, it'd just be somebody else.
And see, I think that that's a little bit different. Right? So, like, say for instance, in my household, I'm viewed as the fireball. Right?
Right.
Say in your household, you viewed as the fireball.
Right.
Take our existence away. I think the households would be different.
Well, I think in my house, the fireball is more my wife,
Okay.
and
Let's do it.
I'm the one that
Let's do it again.
try to be the calm person in the home.
Got it. Let's do it again. Fireballs. They have a purpose. They
Right.
exist. There's a reason.
Right.
Omit them from the equation. Is the equation still the same?
It's hard for me to say, bruh. I just feel like I
We
still
don't
feel.
know. We
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I don't know. I just feel like then somebody else will have to step. I think you can't. I think the nothing can exist without a fireball. Just
That's
like
my point.
without the level hidden, like nothing can exist without one. So that's what I'm saying. So
And
it would.
that's my
That's why I
point.
said it's simple for me. It would just be somebody else.
Like, you know what I mean? Like if there was no Michael Jordan, I can't say that it would just be another Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan's the only Michael Jordan.
Right. It'd just be.
It would just be
It'd be
whoever
Barnaby
somebody else is.
Jones, like whoever that name
Right.
is. Yeah. Yeah. That's all.
Right. So
Yeah.
I get that. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is, or maybe I need to ask or say it from a more direct perspective.
Right.
If who not so much who the person is, but what the person is, did not exist, what would be the difference?
Again, I hear exactly what you're saying. I
Right.
just feel like it's life does not exist without a fireball in every situation. That's
Right.
my opinion of it.
No,
So
no,
I
no. We're saying
understand
it.
what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah, no, we're saying the same thing. No, we're not saying anything opposite. But what I'm saying is that the relevancy or the importance or the existence of
it's
who that
very
person
important.
is
Right.
very important. This is what I'm saying. This is the same reason why you got a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver. It's the
Right.
same reason why you got, you know what I mean,
You got a
other things.
positive
It's just the
charge and a
tools
negative charge on
and a
the
negative
battery.
charge. Exactly. So what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying by that is when people look at fireballs as being rebel rousers or people who start things or create things or kick us up, my
Yeah.
question to those people are, cool. Take them out the equation and what do you have? And if you come up with it, I don't know. You don't know, and that's
Right.
why they exist,
The moral
and
of the
that's why
story
that's like
is
that.
the moral of the story is appreciate your balls and try to
Man, I
keep them
mean,
from not being on fire.
yeah, I mean, you should appreciate them. I mean, that wasn't negative. I can't say nothing bad about it. Let me tell you something. I mean, because if you underappreciate them, you can get yourself hurt. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I mean, there's certain things that I just couldn't imagine. Like, bruh, I work with people sometimes that, kept things going. They were fireballs. But I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine doing that job or being in that environment and them not being there.
Right.
But see, to me, people and places and things aren't as easily replaceable. So, like, I can't say, for instance, like, if it wasn't this, it'd just be somebody else. Like, that's your assessment. That's cool.
Right.
But I can't just make it that where it's a situation. Well, yo, it'll just no. I don't know that. I don't think that it can be. Like I don't think that if it wasn't a Malcolm X, it would have just been somebody else. I don't think that if it wasn't a Martin Luther King, it would have just been someone else. I don't think that way. I think that those people are and what they were supposed to be, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why that existence is what it is. But once again, you find value in a number of different things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
find value in a number of different things. Like I said, like yeah, at my job when I wasn't working here or when I left and I was gone, yeah,
Right.
somebody else slid into that position. But guess what? They
Right.
weren't me no more than I
Nah.
was that the person that was there before that.
Nah.
So
But that's why I
yeah,
said
okay,
I agree with that. They're not going to be you.
yeah. Yeah.
but the energy, I just believe the fireball mentality and all that stuff is it's just an energy. It's a form.
Right. So
So
if your
I just
energy, like if your energy left, bro, your energy ain't easily replaceable.
nah. But that don't mean that another one won't exist. In my
No.
opinion,
Well, energy always has to exist. But what I'm
no.
saying is
I'm just
that
saying.
particular energy.
That okay. I think we looking at it more of a broader situation. Okay, would it be another Eric Rainey? No. Would it be another Michael Jordan? No. Kobe Bryant? No. Allen Iverson? No.
Mhm.
However, fireballs don't have a set structure. It's a form of energy. It's just an example. That person was that live wire. That person was that one who seen it that way. I do believe that not identical energy, but a person that you can consider a fireball would exist. That's all I'm saying. I don't
You just
think.
said.
I just think that not necessarily the same person identical, because you just said my energy can't be matched. No, it might be still there, not my energy, but that person's form of a fireball.
Yeah,
Because I
nah, yeah,
believe that
yeah.
everybody's a one in a kind in their own situation. That's just what I mean. So again, the
Yeah.
question was, can I imagine it? I can, but I don't try to because, in my opinion, I just believe somebody else would be that. That's why they exist
Oh
everywhere.
yeah.
That's all I'm
I mean,
saying.
yeah, I mean, like you said, the energy is always going to be there.
That's
How
all it is.
this?
But that's the fireball thing to me. It's a form of energy. It's a form of
Yeah.
confidence, honestly.
Well, yeah. I
That's
mean,
all. That's
yeah.
how I look
I
at it.
agree with
At.
it.
Because I think when you go in, even when you go in and we talk about how no, I don't agree. You have to be confident to stand strong into your spot and be secure in yourself to be able to have this fiery energy.
Mhm.
And I just think that exists everywhere. You always got a confident person. You do. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, confidence. Yeah, I know some fireball people who aren't intelligent.
Right.
They just mad. They just mad and
Right.
loud.
Right.
And can I imagine that mad and loud person not being around? I often do. So that way
Right.
I can get some sanity within inside of my mind.
Right.
So I think that it comes down to a lot of different, like, bruh, I may be the type of person, ain't no maybe. In my household, I'm the type of person that I can have a conversation, a back and forth, a debate, or whatever you want to call it for an hour and a half. Most people in
Right.
my household, they can't contend with me in that. It's not about a competition. It's just I'm one of the people, I'm good at going for an hour and a half, 2 hours about those things. Where
But
some
I
other people may not. They may not want to do that. And
but
so
but
that gets viewed differently.
that's what I understand what you're saying. But I never, if you look at my list, then that kind of explains the difference of what we're saying. If you look at my list of the people, you ask me if they didn't exist, how would they be? I didn't look at them as being debating people. I looked at everybody that I named that was on that fireball list were all people who brought a spark and a mentality to what they did.
No doubt. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Hypothetically
the same thing
speaking,
with mine.
if you right, if you the fireball in your house and you're the one that's debating, all you got to do is walk out the house and the energy gonna change. I get that.
Just, yeah.
I understand that. But
Yep.
when you ask me the question on my
Hmm.
list, imagine these people not being there.
Hmm.
I'm like, well, it would be another person that's a dominant think like Tom Brady. I just feel
Hmm.
like you know, like you have it's other quarterbacks that have a crazy mentality. He's just the winningest one. That's my opinion of it. That's why
No,
I
no, you're
said what I
right.
said.
No, that's the truth. But that's based on, like you said, what you've
My
seen.
list, yeah, yeah,
Right. Like you saw that. Like they said that Mike to my Jordan wasn't the easiest to get along with.
right.
You know what I mean? But he got multiple championships. They say the same thing. God bless his, bless his
Kobe.
soul. May he rest in peace with Kobe.
Hmm.
Same thing. So what's some of the similarities? Now, when you turn around and you omit them, what if it wasn't a Kobe? We can easily say then it would have been, or what if it wasn't a Mike? But what I'm saying is if you ask those people that they won those championships and those people that they were with in those situations, I think they'll feel a little bit different. They would
Right.
say, well, now I can't imagine that we would have won those championships if Mike wasn't here. I can't imagine we would
I
have won those things.
I think the question is asked if you ask it, I just had it in my head. Kind of ask it in reverse. Um, because you'll hear them say that. You'll often hear people say this. They'll say, "I'll never have a different. I don't think I ever have a teammate that was like Kobe Bryant, or I ever have a teammate that was like Michael Jordan,
Right.
or I ever have a teammate that was Allen Iverson."
Right.
So it's like the same thing you saying, but if you say it in reverse, it makes a person's mentality think different. See, it's always the way stuff is presented to you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's when you say it that way. Like when the person say, when you say, "Do you ever think it'd be another Michael Jordan?" You hear probably person say all the time, "Nah, it'd never be another Michael Jordan, or it'd never be another Kobe Bryant, or it'd never be another LeBron James, or it'd never be
Right.
another Magic Johnson." When they
Right.
say it that way,
Right.
but but what's the one thing they all have in common?
What's that?
They all fireballs.
That's exactly, and that's why I say
That's what I'm
none of them
saying.
guys ever
So
did
it's
it.
always going to be one that exists. That's how I feel. That
Yeah,
leads me back to
it
my
is.
decision.
Yeah, nah, it is. It is. Nah, it is going to be somebody. It's always going to be people there that are fireballs and bring that that next level energy, which is what it really comes down to, and all of that stuff. But like I
Now the
said,
question is, how many eight balls
I don't know.
is going to ever be
Right.
existed?
But like when you look at it from the perspective, like when you look at it from the perspective, if you ask Steve Kerr, did he like winning the championship with Michael Jordan? He probably say yeah. But if you ask him if he like getting punched in the face, punched in the face by him after he swung with Mike because he wasn't gonna be bullied by him, what do you think he gonna say there? No.
He say no. However, he does say he believed that started their friendship, their true friendship, because he realized that he wasn't going to back down to him.
Yeah, but then we would have never. Well, let me tell you. Well, never mind. I ain't even gonna do that. But the point in
Ain't
that
nobody punching
situation,
me in the face, and I'm cool with
nah,
it. I
but
get
nah,
it.
it's no, it's just they not even. If that's what we gotta, if that's the initiation for us to be friends, then
Yeah, we ain't
we
gotta
ain't
fuck
gonna
with
be
each other.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you're
this a
saying.
business. This a business anyway. There's certain things, man. There's certain people that I had in my life, bruh, that are here or not here, that had a fireball mentality about them that they're not going to be replaced.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm
Yeah.
saying by that is that
But I don't think
I
I think we're looking at it different. I don't think they'll be. I'm not saying that they would be replaced again. I'm going back to the way you asked me the question. If they weren't there, how do you think it would affect the game? And I just feel like it would have been somebody else doing for the reasons why I picked them.
well, I was just saying not even so much the game. I said what I
Yeah.
said was because my list, bruh, consisted of Kanye West, Cardi B. I said Muhammad Ali. Um, we did say did I say Kobe as well?
Yeah.
And it was one other name. Might have been Mike.
Muhammad Ali.
For,
You said
I
yeah.
said I said Muhammad. Yeah, so like even when you use the statement or you even use the person in terms of a Malcolm X, I can't say that I could identify with somebody else who would have been a Malcolm.
No.
Like I can't say it.
But
You know what I mean?
but
So
what I'm saying is
mhm.
it might have been somebody else that on the up that spoke up, not saying the exact things as Malcolm, not saying the same thing, but they
Right.
looked. It was still put it to you like this. I guess my definition of a fireball is a leader, right? And the fact
Right.
that you got all these people, it's gonna always be a leader on the team what may have a different type of energy that you've never seen. And that's what it is, in my opinion. Like I said, that's why in this situation we saying the same things, but then when we're doing at the same time, our definition of a fireball is not 100% the same. So you have it tilt one way and you have it tilt another way. That's what that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's just different. Not even talking about the people, just talking about ourselves individually at this point. But
Right.
like there's times where I may be in traffic or I might be driving someplace and something happens on the road and I get bothered by it. You know what I mean? I become emotionally invested into the situation. I turn around and when that happens, you know, the wife may look at me and say, "Why do you let that bother you?" And it may be, Well, I'm in here letting it bother me. I'm not over there bothering them. I'm not knocking on their glass. I'm not cutting their vehicle off. I'm not doing any of those things. Now, to me, that's a more controlled situation. Now, a fireball would drive up next to him, blowing the horn, giving them the bird and all those type of things. I'm not doing all those things. But in the same token, yeah, it did bother me. Now, there's other times where I may turn around and I may address it. I had a guy one time thought I was getting ready to come out into the road. I wasn't. Driving down the road, the guy makes it his business to ride up next to me, reaches in his cup holder or wherever he got them from and took a handful of pennies and threw them up against my car. And I'm sitting up there like, wow, you know. Now, do I now have the green light to do something crazy to this guy because of the fact that he did that? That was that was a situation where I had to make a, decision that was going to be conducive to the safety of both of us. Even though this man clearly was being a fireball and being how he wanted to be.
Now I don't think that was a fireball. I think that was an asshole.
He was. But in the same token, for
But
whatever
again,
reason,
yeah,
he
but
did what
again,
he wanted to do.
you told me again. We going with the definition of our definitions is not matching. Again, I'm just gonna use my list again for an example.
Okay.
When I spoke on them being a fireball, I also stated earlier in the show that you have a fireball, you have a glow with you, you have a shine. I'm not saying that people on your list didn't have a glow and a shine with them because they did, but which means they had like, what do you need to keep a fire going?
The fuel.
Right. So they had this mentality to keep a fuel to keep themselves with this fiery mentality to be great, and then they were great, which made them shine. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Absolutely.
like that's what I mean. So I guess my more say of it is gonna always be somebody who's elite in anything that they do. And in my eyes, whether they have a high or exciting, they're a fireball because they're still glowing. That's what I think also is why my mentality says it'll be somebody else then. Because you're gonna always have somebody gotta be first. And somebody's gotta be last. Everybody can't be first.
Right.
But at this time, all these guys and all these people on the list was ranked being first at some point. And that's how I see it.
I got it. And I think the reason why it was a little bit more acceptable, not to be funny, but because they were talented, we made more of an allowance for it.
Right. But
I'm,
I'm not just talent. I mean, I just like people who stand up and speak for themselves by all costs too.
oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, but
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, all right, so like, I could turn around and say that Jim Brown was a fireball,
he was.
right? Even though he wasn't as vocal or maybe as boisterous as some of these other people that we're talking about, he still had a fireball mentality, and he was a fireball in a more controlled or a more conservative approach about doing that.
Right. But you seen the confidence in him.
Absolutely. But first off, whether you see
When
his
he's
confidence or not, when it was time for him to be in position to make a difference, he was there.
That's what I mean.
No doubt.
In his time, it took confidence.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Especially in his time because you can
not only I get what you're saying. I get what you're
right.
saying.
Right.
Not only so much in his time, but any time that
No,
you
it's
have to be the person that has to be able to exude a leadership quality situation. I understand that some of the variables and some of the different things were different in that time period. What I'm just saying is like you're saying, the definition and the qualities that make a person a fireball is a person that you said has some eliteness about him, right? Has some leadership ability about him, and knows how to be able to maneuver in those situations, even when it's not comfortable.
and they shined.
And they shine, which
Because
clearly,
the fire is
makes them a
bright.
fire. Right. Like, which clearly makes them, be more of a fireball in that situation based on partially what you were saying in terms of your definition. So all I'm saying in all of those things is that, and I get what you're saying, bro. I'm definitely not contesting. I don't have a position in that because that's your feelings and your opinion about it. I just said what I felt about it is I don't think it's as easily to just for me to say. Like you said, it is a little bit easier for you to say that if it wasn't for them, it would be somebody else. I don't feel that way. You do. It's just
Right.
a difference in the situation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe, and it's not a cockiness or an arrogance about the situation. But you're supposed to feel like if you truly a fireball yourself, that my absence would leave an effect. My non-presence would leave an effect.
I always
There would
believe.
be a difference in the situation without my existence.
I always believe that it would leave an effect, but at the same time, I believe that in 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 an overall picture, in an overall picture, everybody's replaceable. But in a more personal picture, some people are not replaceable. Most people are not replaceable in a smaller structure. So they direct connect. But because these people were fireballs connected across the world, they will always be honored and remembered. But you'll continue to see stuff still going on. I just use for example. When you look at the story of Jesus, right? It was other people before him with the same story. So I just believe that it's always going to be another character, and people are going to always be compared too. You understand what I'm saying? Like they're just going to always be compared. That's why records are made to be broken. Like that's just my theory of it. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to feel like it's your turn and you're the best at what you do because that's part of what makes you a fireball. But in all actuality, it will
Right.
be another person next. It will be.
Yeah, in theory, there'll
That
be a
that's
next
just that it'll be
there'll
somebody
be a
else
next
next.
person. Right.
Yeah.
There'll be a next person, but the standard is what we were talking about in terms of the definition, right? So the standard of what you call a fireball, you explained it already,
Mm-hmm.
right? The eliteness of it and this, that, and the third. Like
Eliteness,
everything I can
confidence, and they shine.
eliteness, confidence, and they shine. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And when you give a description like that, you can mold it and shape it and turn it and use it like clay and say, "Baba, this person is now that."
Oh, right.
So I went and I found them. That's fine. But to me, I guess the way that I look at it from a perspective of like we only have one son. We don't have two sons.
Right.
We got one son. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? If that son goes out, well, there's no next son. You know, how would things be impacted without the son? There'd be no growth. There would be no. So there's certain things, and that's why I say I get what you're saying, and that impacts the world. Just using it on a broader scale, since
Mm-hmm.
what you were saying were more when it confined or a smaller setting versus a global or a larger one.
Mm-hmm.
When I sit back and I think about it, it led me to that question, and I still don't think that it's as easily, physically a body or putting
Here's the
someone
thing.
there.
Here's the thing.
Absolutely.
Let's go like this. First of all, your example of the sun is great. But other than a cloudy day, we ain't never seen the sun left until nighttime came.
Right.
Number two,
Mm-hmm.
because you're the fireball and the flame of your home, P, if something was to happen and you're my brother, my only biological brother, no, you can't be replaced. But again, it goes back to the list of what I made. And then when you ask me the question, before Allen Iverson, we had Michael Jordan. Before we had Michael Jordan, we had Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Before them, we had Dr. J. It's always somebody coming. Before Mike Tyson, we had Muhammad Ali and George Foreman and Sonny Liston. Like this, Joe Frazier. That's why I say that. You get what I'm saying? Before Kanye West, we had Jay-Z.
Okay.
This is why I'm saying that it would just be somebody else. Because when you ask me the question, it's about the people. Before Cardi B, you had Nicki Minaj. Before Nicki Minaj, you had Little Kim. Before Little Kim, you had MC Light. Like, this is what I mean. That's why I said it. And all those people I'm naming, in my definition, are fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
They were confident, elite, and they shine.
No doubt. No
That's what
doubt.
I
No
mean.
doubt. No doubt. But when they came, they weren't they weren't
They none of
replacing them.
no, they weren't. That's what I'm saying. I
And
never said
no,
about
but
replacing though. What I'm saying is, a fireball was never meant to be one person for that whole culture. That's why the list had 5.
Yeah, well,
That's
that's why I asked you to
what I
pick
mean.
five. I
Yeah.
could have asked you to pick one person, but that's why I
Right.
asked you to pick five, so you can
Right.
have some comparables. Yeah, nah, absolutely. But like you said, even in that analogy or how you broke it down, where if it wasn't before Mike, it was Doc and all these different people.
Mhm.
Once again, each one of these people that came about, it wasn't about them replacing the other person.
No.
It
It
was
was
about
about
them being their own unique, their own
fireball.
fireball. I
Right.
get that. I
Yeah.
get that.
Right.
What I'm saying in that situation is while they were being their own unique fireball, if you omitted some of them from certain times, then how does that work, right? So like if it was no Dr. J, then you would have to say somebody before Dr. J to compare Mike to say, well, before Mike it was. And if you're
Well,
consistently reaching for that, it's a different situation. I'm not saying that the eliteness of being a fireball doesn't exist because I think that you do have to be elite. But the last time I checked, in terms of situations being elite, is elite ain't something that everybody can just be.
nah. But
So you can
you
have a person that comes in that's a spark and that's a flame, but they're not elite.
but
You know what I'm
everybody's
saying?
elite. But everybody's elite in their own right. Bro, you're an elite father. You're the only father in your house. So regardless if something happened to you, no one will be more elite than you. Nobody will compare that. Again, the question you asked me goes back to the list. So if you ask me the question, with me being a fireball in my house,
Mm-hmm.
imagine me not being there. Nah, I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I'm agree with you all day on that. I can't, bruh. It ain't
Yeah.
nobody else matching that.
Right. That's
That's
all I
all.
was really saying.
Yeah, I know what you were saying. Again,
Yeah.
it goes back to the mentality because every time we would go here and you would use the example for the most part. At my house, I'm the debate person. Now this and that. You're using your personal structure. I agree with you on that wholehearted level.
Mm-hmm.
But the original question,
Was what if those people didn't
right,
exist?
right.
And like I said,
Because
that's
guess
the shit that
what?
we.
Because guess what? If those people didn't exist, what was your
Uh
list again?
I knew Ali was on the list.
Mm-hmm.
I had Kanye. I had Cardi. I want to say I had Jordan, and I probably had Tom Brady. No, I had Tom
Tom
Brady.
Brady, right. So,
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady was the only football player picked.
Yep.
Okay? Two
Yep.
boxers, two boxers was picked. Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. So you still had them both.
Uh
So
huh.
it goes to the theory, like after Ali, yeah, Tyson. Then I even said Floyd. Then when we said Kanye, then I also said 50 Cent. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
something. It's always
Yeah. I'm not.
somebody.
I think I see something too different in what we're saying though. Is
Right.
that the fireball element of it? Right. Is that's a personality trait. That's something that a person brings. Right. No, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of unknown fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of behind the scenes people that can be fireballs as well. I think when I asked that question, once again, I asked if could you imagine if they didn't exist? And your response, what I recall, was then it would just be somebody else. So what you're doing is, in my opinion, you're saying that it would be a simplified thing to just replace them with someone else
No,
because
no,
of the
no, no, no.
greatness.
No, no, no. I'm not saying that it would. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, now that puts it a lot. I just think that if those people, if it would be somebody else's name, it'll be a different name that we're saying,
Right.
because somebody has to set the bar. That's all I'm saying. And everything that we talked about, someone set the bar.
And you know what's funny about that is until you exceed
Right.
the bar remains the same. Right.
Exactly. That's why
So
I said
until you
records are made to be broken.
right. So until you find a person that you would even put in a conversation to say that he's like Mike or he can be as good as Mike or he's just that and the third,
He has to be his own fireball.
and he's a fireball,
Right.
but doesn't get recognized at the level of the one that he's
That's
supposed to be.
that's not
Right?
true. Not in my opinion. Because I pick AI to be a fireball and he's never won a championship. He's not
I
even
ain't
in the
saying that
top.
about
He's
championship. I'm
no, no,
saying in
no, no.
comparison. Yeah.
He's not even in the top 15 of scoring. He's not. So what I'm saying is, but listen, I'm talking about in the sports of basketball. They set these levels
Right.
from that. Now I
Right.
say that Allen Iverson is a fireball because, in my opinion, he's had the biggest influence on basketball more than anybody.
No doubt.
That's why I say that. So he still
Right.
is his own original fireball. Now,
Right.
to answer, I guess what we can say that we can both agree on, will it be another Allen Iverson? We can't. Nah, I can't see that.
Right. But
I
not even
can't
so
say I
much
can
will it
see
be
it's
another
another Michael
AI.
Jordan. But what I'm saying is because the fireball definition is so broad to me that it always will be one. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're gonna always have, and I use the term loosely. You're gonna always have people who are conniving. You're gonna always have people who are
Right. There you go.
fireballs. You're gonna always have all of those things. You're gonna always have all of them. Or all of them are going to be as impactful as the ones before them? No, they're not. They're not going to be as impactful because the reality of it is what is needed and who is needed at a specific time differs. So a person that is like a person like, for instance, not nothing taking nothing from what Jim Brown did in terms of what I used him as an analogy earlier, but he doesn't. His place now would be different, viewed differently than then. That
Mm-hmm.
time needed him then. This
Right.
time is a different situation.
Right.
So by replacing,
Him,
you know what
Kareem
I'm saying?
Abdul-Jabbar, all of them.
Right.
Muhammad
You know what I
Ali,
mean?
they need all of them.
Bill Russell, all of
Right.
them.
All of them.
So that's what I'm saying. So they were there at a specific time to do a specific thing. But if you omitted them from that time, doing that specific thing, I just don't know if it's just anybody who could have slid in and did that thing.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it could just been anybody that slid in and do that thing. What I'm saying to you is they were there because they had to be there. And if God
It's,
needed somebody to be there at that time, their name could have been Larry Jones, Scott Miller, Damian Dawkins. I don't know. That's all I'm saying to you, bruh. But everything has a purpose at the time because all this is written. That's all I'm saying. But with that being said, this is episode 76 and this is Fireball. And y'all seen the two fireballs sitting here telling y'all how this shit work.
yeah, we were so fireballed today, we ain't even do no this or that or nothing. But I knew
Nah,
we wasn't going to get the one today. This
nah,
was a
nigga.
great topic right here, man. You
Right.
know, as I say each and every week, man, as we say each and every week, we want to thank y'all for tuning in, whether it's through your favorite podcast and streaming site or
Right.
whether it's on YouTube. You know, as we say each and every week, choice is yours. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when all the content is dropping. Once again, man, this has been episode number 76,
Fireball.
Fireball. And I think that y'all seen
Yeah.
and heard, depending on if you saw and heard it. You know what I mean? Two fireballs. It's coming out when will be out. You know, like I say, the podcasting streaming site of it will be available early,
Mm-hmm.
and that the YouTube version of it will be available Thursday at 7 p.m.
That's it.
So if you're already watching this, that means next week's episode
Mm-hmm.
at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, great conversation, bro.
All right,
You know how
bro.
we do, man.
All
We
right.
look forward to seeing y'all next week. Y'all be good.
All
All right,
right.
y'all.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.